Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Life Health Show. I have another guest, somebody I've met many years ago as I was traveling in my raw food lecture tour. And he had a health food store in one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, St. George, Utah. And his name's Denley, and he's on the show today. Hello, Denley. How are you?
Howdy, Paul. Hi, everybody.
So, Denley, I know how many years has it been since I spoke at your store? Oh, many years, right?
Yeah, I think we're sneaking up on 20, maybe 18, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, pretty amazing. And I'm glad to see you're still involved into health and everything else. So I want to hear a little bit about your journey, and I want you to share this with people because when I met you, you had a health food store, you were interested in raw foods, and we kind of kept in touch a little, but I don't know your story, where you've been with your diet, and I want you to tell everybody else because I know you're still into health and you're doing health products and things. So uh currently, are you a vegetarian or a vegan?
Vegan. Yeah.
How long have you been a vegan now?
Give or take 40 years.
40 years of vegan. Wow. Do you do any supplements?
Yes.
Okay.
All whole food supplements. I take vitamins just in case I'm missing something.
Now, do you base that on your blood work or based on what? I mean, do you just take them like, because there's a lot of vitamins out there. So do you take everything, or why do you take a select few? What do you do with that?
I take just a plant-based vitamin that tries to cover me on my deficiencies that I might have, like B12 and all that. But it's just a regular plant-based vitamin, organic, and that's the main gist. I take minerals. We have a mineral, our company, and it's all from plants. And that's about it. I take greens, mix up my Ormus greens with my minerals, and anyway, that's the gist of it.
And do you get your blood tested often or no?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I really don't feel like I need to. I feel good. I feel great, and I haven't seen the need. If it's not broke, I don't want to fix it.
Yeah. So here you are, 40 years plus on a vegan diet. What made you go on a vegan diet?
I was having a lot of health issues myself, but then we had twin daughters, little babies, and they were sick right off the bat, constant diarrhea, throwing up all over everything and everybody, and respiratory infection. So every month they get this croup, this cough, and then it would turn into like pneumonia type stuff. And so we take them to the doctor. He put them on a prescription, and a month later they'd be sick. And but then something started to happen. Instead of every month, it was like every 3 weeks. The visits between doctor visits, the time between doctor visits got shorter and shorter and shorter, to the point that they had to be on prescription drugs all the time or they were sick. And so we're going, wow, what if there's something wrong with them? Hello. So we took him to a specialist. He tested them and he goes, your girls have cystic fibrosis, my boy. And that put us into shock. My sister had a baby die of CF a few years prior. So I go, we don't know what to do. And he goes, well, I said, what's the prognosis here, doc? What do we do? And he goes, well, they live to be 18 or 20 years old. They got to live in a bubble. You got to take them up to the University of Utah Medical Center every 2 or 3 times a week, patterning, more drugs. He says, but the first thing we need to do is double up on these prescriptions, double up and hit them hard. And I'm going, that makes about 0 sense to me. It was a kind of an insult to what intelligence I had back then. I go, are you kidding me? No way. Now that I know my babies are dying and you want me to do more of it, what isn't working? So somehow we were led to a lady, and she sat us down and looked at us, looked at our girls, and she said, well, if you'll do what I tell you to do, I'm going to make you a promise. You'll never have your babies back to the hospital or the doctor again. And I go, like ever? You mean forever? She goes, forever. And don't you know, your answer lies in nature. There is your answer. And something inside me clicked. Man, it felt right. It was the only thing that made sense to us. So we went home unpacking our fridge, our freezers, our cupboards. No, nothing from a can or a box. We got rid of animal products. We got rid of colorings and food additives. We completely cleaned our whole cupboards out and freezers, and instantly, Paul, we became the neighborhood weirdos. You know what that's like? Yes, you do.
Yeah, I know.
So we are, and we're still neighborhood weirdos. We're still weird. But over the years, it's become very cool to be weird. You know,
Yeah.
it's the end thing now, man. And so, so that was almost 45 years ago, Paul. And our girls are now 45. One has 7 kids, and the other one has 8. And so it was 15 grandkids that we would have got cheated out. And so this thing is not a theory.
So what did the lady tell you to do exactly? Did she just say go vegan, or did she give you step by step what to eat and what to supplement?
Oh yeah, good question. Excuse me. Basically, for the most part, a raw food diet. I mean, Jan, the next morning we turned on a dime, and I worked as a produce manager in a grocery store, and she was there with a ball and kids in a cart, 9 o'clock the next morning when they opened, and she was there for an hour or two, and the only thing she could find is produce that would, basically that's what we kind of made, boiled it down to produce, and so yes, and she told us, she gave us recipes. We've learned some very cool things. Yes, our kids still got sick, but she told us what to do, and we did it. We know how to get kids better. We know how to get well. If somebody's sick, we know how to get well. I've learned a lot of stuff. And so, yeah, we never talked back to the doctor.
Wait. So how old were your children when you went to this lady the first time?
14 months by then.
14 months. And what were they breastfeeding at the time? Were they eating baby formula? What were they doing?
Well, probably by then, probably not breastfeeding by then. I'm sure she breastfed them, for the first few months, but that's, we knew nothing, but by then, probably formulas, and we were just on the sad diet, basically. So yeah.
And you said they after you made the change, they still got sick, but not as much or severe.
They got sick, and it would come in on them, right in on their lungs. And so we do raw potato juice enemas. That was the magical one. We gave them the little apple cider vinegar, a little shot of vinegar to turn the acidity in their stomach right, and then different like turmeric, and not turmeric, but curcumin. Anyway, they had nosebleeds a lot. They have, and we give them cinnamon and paprika, cinnamon and paprika drink. We give them for the diarrhea. We give them carob powder with honey, mix it up, and they thought that was like chocolate milk.
So you never went back to the doctors for that?
No, never.
So when they got sick, the first time they got sick, were you concerned at all?
We were scared to death, and our family thought we were absolutely nuts. I mean, we were weird to our family and everybody. Yeah, totally nuts. And but I felt it inside.
But you and your wife were okay with this.
We were on it. Yeah, we made Jiffy soup. It's like, the Jiffy soup of the 70s is the green smoothies of the 2000s, but it didn't taste like green smoothies nowadays. It was not good, and we would it would be for hours trying to get them to drink that Jiffy soup, and they'd knock it over, bump it over, it'd hit the floor and then hit the ceiling, and it would be all over. We had green everywhere.
Now, did you mention you gave them enemas?
Oh yeah. When they would get sick, it would be red potato juice enemas.
As babies.
Yeah, and that got tricky because they got to the point, they got smart, they started hiding their cough because they knew what was coming. We started breaking out the juicer, and they're running down the hall. Hiding people. And but it works. There is no question about it.
So when did you know, after that first time they got sick, And then you started, it wasn't every 3 weeks, it was every, what, 2 months? Like, when did you start to
Every
know
two-
this is working?
Oh, because well, that's a good question, because they got better and better, small steps. We put them in a tub of water for 2 hours at a time, twice a day. And the first month it was like salt. We'd buy rock salt, and it would dissolve in the tub of water. And then the next month it was salt and soda. Next month it was like all soda. The last month it was Epsom salts. So if something happened in that bathtub, at the end of their 2 hour bath, there was a scum on top of the water, like a brownish, and different colors, different times, coming out of their systems. It was pulling that whatever they had in their systems out into the tub, and it was crazy. And then the last month, at the end of the last month, Jan's combing through the hair, getting them ready for church one morning. She goes, "Oh my gosh!" She looked, and they had sores all in their scalp, oozing sores. So yeah, this lady's name was Loa. So we called her and go, "Loa, you can't believe what's happened. Now what are we facing?" And she goes, "You just might get on your knees and thank the good Lord above, because I knew it was going to come out of their system somewhere, and it usually is the head. That was the poisons and toxins coming out of their system, came out through their scalp, both of them, out of their scalps." And but when they would get sick, we knew what to do. Our family, of course, they fought us on it. We'd go somewhere, or they'd tend the kids or something, and they'd go. Every little kid needs a McDonald's hamburger, and so they would do that, and they would be sick for 2 weeks. Mad.
And at this point, your children were like 1 year old.
Yeah, they were by that point between a year and a half and 2 years. But I mean, we had all through their they were extra tiny, because they started off slow and small. They finally caught up, but through grade school we had to watch them like a hawk, what they ate, because if they didn't stick with the diet, then they were sick. It's crazy.
Now, when they were older, were they tempted to eat junk food or no?
Well, when they got a little older, then yeah. Well, one of them went to a party, to come home coughing. Well, I mean, we're ultra sensitive anyway. He said, "Okay, what did you eat?" Well, we had pizza. When they start getting their early teens and things, they get around their friends and things, and so they had to be vigilant. They did. When they fell off the diet, they were sick. It was crazy.
Wow. So as you saw this with this lady and she told you what to do, did you and your wife right away, we're going on this vegan diet as well, this raw food diet?
Totally. So I read about raw foods and things, and started experimenting, and Wigmore and Arnold Ehret, read all of those things. I became very passionate about this subject, because I found out my calling. This is my calling in life. It is, just like you. But so I did a lot of more studying, and eventually, the word vegan hadn't been invented yet. And I discovered the word vegan back in the 90s. And about 1998, 1999, then I got into raw food, doing raw food. And so went raw for 8 years, then off and on, but mainly raw, and I stick with it close as I can right now. I do a lot of traveling and a lot of meetings and stuff, and but I'll tell you what, it's the answer. It really is.
Wow. So you went on this path of going 8 years at 100% raw.
100%, not one cooked morsel touched these lips, except for stewed prunes, stewed mangoes in Belize. I didn't have the heart to turn these people down. They're so sweet. So I did. I cheated.
So then what happened after you after 8 years 100% raw? Were you craving cooked food, or was it inconvenient? What happened?
Yes, I got tired of eating salad twice a day. And I've learned a lot of stuff since then, but I'm going, and then I have my good buddy. We were raw together, and he was falling off the wagon, and he convinced me that raw isn't the way to go. It was just an excuse, but he convinced me that I'm missing nutrients here and there, and so finally I said, well, what the heck? And so once I fell off the wagon, then it was, hard. Instead of getting back on the horse after you got bucked off, I didn't. But I still, for the most part, ate raw. But now I've learned that fruit, fruit smoothies, man, I can go all day on fruit smoothies and eat a little fruit. It's just, and then I'll have my salad at night. So it's so much easier for me now. It's really not hard.
So now you're mostly raw.
Yeah, I am. Yep.
And what are you eating that's cooked now?
I'm not eating anything cooked right now.
Oh wow, wow.
So when I would do, it would like be a baked potato or steamed asparagus or something like that. But really, I got thinking about it, and I'm talking to myself as I'm talking to you. I'm going, where is the nutritional benefit of heating food? How does that improve it? It kills it, is what it does. It takes all the enzymes and all the power out of that food, and so it doesn't really make sense. It's just addictive, and it tastes good. So that's
Sure.
the truth of it.
So what about your children? Where are your children at with this now?
They have to watch what they eat. They got married carnivore husbands, and one of them has gone back to raw for a lot of it, but she's still struggles with. She had got 8 kids, and so but she's actually doing pretty good. Both of them are doing actually quite good. They know the truth, and I share it with them. I run across your podcast and share it with them or something. I like to just keep them remembering, what got them where they're at.
And what about your wife? What's her journey? Has she stayed vegan over the years as well?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. There was a time that back in 10 years ago, when it was a rave to raw eggs, raw cheese, and the collagen thing started coming about. And so I did raw eggs and cheese, and then I had my blood tested back then, and they're going, "Whoa, your cholesterol's high." And I was getting some stuff on my skin type of cancer stuff, and I'm going, okay, that tells me the whole, thanks for the reminder. So I went right back on my straight and narrow.
Sure. Now you when I met you, you were working real estate, and
yeah,
and I know you had such a passion for healthy food and raw food, and then you started getting into the supplement business. So explain what happened with that.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't. We started Sun Warrior. Me and my raw food buddy, and met Nick Stern, and he's into raw food, and we're in the sun gazing. We're like, it was like meant to be. A great friendships, and we had so much in common. And so Nick was a bodybuilder, and he wanted a raw protein to because all the other proteins, the soy and the whey, was like killing him. His joints were giving him trouble, and his stomach was killing him and stuff. So he talked me into going in business with him, and I said, well, okay, I don't do much protein because I'm just like a raw food guy, and but yeah, it sounds good, and so we came up with some raw protein powder, Sun Warrior protein, and it was it went boom, it took off, and it's great. Love
Now,
it.
just so everyone heard that correctly, Sun Warrior protein, that's one of the most popular protein powders in the markets. You can go to anywhere, any popular health food store, Whole Foods, anywhere, and they actually sell that. And you are actually the creator, the inventor, and the owner of the company.
Well, I like to take all the credit, but I'm not that brilliant. I have to give credit to Nick because he's the one that wanted the protein. So, but
Okay.
I'm just honored to be part of it. It's bigger than me. Thank you, Lord.
It didn't stop with the protein, because then you sold the collagen, and then and what else? What else do you have?
Well, yeah, vegan collagen. We have greens. My foundation is super Ormus greens because they're raw.
Well, let's go back to the collagen. You said vegan collagen. What's the source of non-vegan collagen?
Okay, I get that question all the time. Well, people that take regular collagen from an animal, whatever animal it is, I thought that when you drink that, if you're low on collagen in your body, well, just drink a drink of that, and it magically converts from bovine to human collagen, just magically, just when you drink it. And that's not the case. No, it has to be digested. Whatever we put in our mouth has to be digested, absorbed, and assimilated, and into components to build collagen. So our bodies make the collagen. We don't get the collagen from the animal, and it converts in. It has to be made by the body. So once I understood that, I'm going, well, I can do that with plants. But we've eliminated a few things. We've eliminated the factory farms. We've eliminated the hormones, the pesticides. We're not cutting down the Amazon for this. But the biggest thing of all, Paul, is we've eliminated slaughterhouse. We're a company of life, not a company of death. And that's who we are. That will be forever. Plant-based, vegan, and we take no life. That's so that it's a great collagen. It tastes better. It's, you know, the superfoods that trigger the body to make collagen, peptides, the vitamin C from amla, and different superfoods to trigger the body to make collagen.
Wow. And then you were talking about Ormus greens. What's Ormus greens?
Our greens are actually grown here in the mountain valleys of Utah. And in this soil, this volcanic rich soil, and it used to be the lake bed, Lake Bonneville used to cover the whole state. And it finally drained millions of years later. But this soil is amazing. It's just like magnetic, the noble metals, filled with noble metals, Ormus monoatomic minerals. And it pulls these minerals up into the blade of the grass. And so a lot of it is the juice powder. That's the difference between our grains and other grains, is we cut the grass, juice it, and dry it right immediately at cool, 80, 90 degrees. They're alive. These grains are alive, and they're just loaded with amazing life force. And so I do that every day. I've got all kinds of testimonials on our Ormus greens, and I take them with our minerals. It balances your pH, you know, makes you alkaline.
What do you mean? What do you mean with your minerals?
The minerals, well, also from Utah, and there is old plants that have decayed, and the magic to our minerals is fulvic acid, which is in the minerals naturally. We don't add fulvic; it's in there naturally, and the fulvic material delivers into the cell these minerals. So you get cellular delivery with these minerals. So whatever you put with our minerals, it's absorbed into the molecule and goes into the cell.
Well, what's the source of the minerals?
Plants like old trees, shrubs from old stuff that's decayed from years, thousands of years, decayed into substance, and then they take it with water, known chemicals made to leach these minerals out of this black substance. So
now, when you say plants, what do you mean? Do you go to like a forest area and you get the plants, or like what do you mean when you say plants? Are you growing the plants?
It's like prehistoric plants that have been broken down. Utah's an amazing place for all of this kind of stuff.
But where are you getting the plants from? From a source like a forest or something, or are you growing?
It's old prehistoric forests.
Got it.
It's got these plants. You see, that's been broken down over the years.
Wow, amazing.
So yeah, it's like I'm not that much on minerals from the Great Salt Lake or from the ocean and things. I think our minerals should come from plants because the body recognizes that. It's organic, you know, should we say, comes from a natural source from plants. That's where we need to get our nutrients. Same with our vitamins. You know, we have plant-based vitamins. We have herbs and things now, and I have quite an array of things. But my mainstay is the greens and the minerals.
Wow. That's amazing. So you tell us your website where you sell all your products.
Okay, www.sunwarrior.com.
Sunwarrior.com.
Yeah, my email is Denley, DENLEY @sunwarrior.com. So yeah, and you can just say, heard you on Paul's podcast or something like that, so I don't miss it.
Yeah, well, that's great. And what else do you want to share? Because I know now, what do? You go into health food stores and promoting your products, or you just sharing your testimony? What do you help children that are sick. What do you do with the bulk of your time now?
Okay, so yeah, I'm creating other companies. I do other companies because I love business, and of course my mission and my passion is health. And I've learned one thing that just to go walk up to somebody and volunteer your knowledge to help them, unless they're asking, I don't really say much anymore because it's like they're not interested. People don't want to change their diet unless there's something inside of them that they have to, or something calls them, like the higher power calls them. But people, if anybody asks, I'll go out of my way. I'll serve them, do everything I can to help them because it's the truth. It's the very, very truth. And what we put in our mouth has everything to do with how we think, how we act, how we feel, our emotions. It's all in food. That's why I stick to raw and try to stick to raw. I'm not perfect. I don't fly perfect all the time, but I'm try to stick to raw because it's a higher vibration, and it does affect your thoughts. And when I'm completely raw, it just seems like everything fits. Everything is just synchronicity. It just all fits so easy. And so I've learned that the alkaline state is the only way to be. And I've also learned that our physiology is what? We're not built like a chicken, hog, or dog. We're built like a primate. We're primates. And so eat like a monkey. Eat like a monkey and you'll be healthy. That's what I say. And then I still believe in greens and things, greens and sprouts. Some raw foodists, I look at them, I'm going, are they thriving or not? And how do they look? And how are they, are they with it? Are they quick? And I think maybe they might message something. I think that we should do major fruit, greens, but sprouts. People are missing sprouts in there. And then the other thing is their greens. To grow your own greens is the ultimate, which I know you're doing, Paul. It's that leaf and I try not to wash my greens unless I have to because it's got that bacteria on the leaf. It's just, if you do that, and of course, if you could do a juice every day, a raw vegetable juice, that would give you all the vitamins and minerals you need anyway. But you probably get it all in just a good raw diet.
Yeah,
but,
for me, it's the sprouts and the sea vegetables.
Okay.
Powerful combination.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know about astaxanthin, the Velasta astaxanthin, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you bet.
But no, you're on the right path, man. And I know you personally, and I know you're walking your walk, and you're helping so many people for all these years.
Well, it's I feel like I'm led. I really do. And I have. By the way, Paul, I've got a farm. You and I are kind of have a little bit in common here. I've got about 160 fruit trees. And about
okay, so tell me about that. So yeah, I don't know if I knew that. So you have how big's your farm?
It's 37 acres, 35, somewhere in that range. I've got 160 fruit trees, over 500 pomegranates bushes we're growing.
Wow.
I got
different varieties of pomegranate.
Yeah, we have a Utah Dixie, which is a sweet one, and then we have like the wonderful one.
Okay.
Most of it's wonderful.
I have one that grows here in the tropics, only one. It's called it's a Vietnam pomegranate. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
well, if I just had your climate, Paul, oh man, could I do some beautiful things?
Well, you also need the land, not just the climate. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
And when the climate like this, land is a lot more money sometimes.
Yeah.
So so besides the pomegranates, so what do you do with your produce? Do you sell it?
Well, I've been just eating it and sharing it for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
I have 3 greenhouses, and I have aloe vera growing, a bunch of aloe vera that I have to cover it in the winter because it'll freeze down. But I'm trying to figure out how to market this stuff and sell it because people need food. That's the next big deal. I think we're going to see it real soon, that we should be growing our own food. It's a big deal.
Besides the pomegranates, tell me what other fruit you have.
Yeah, I've got peaches. I got apricots,
What kind of peaches do you grow? What variety?
Alberta is that's a Utah brand. There's I don't know all the varieties nowadays. Red Havens, um, that's some of the old varieties, but they're pretty good. They do pretty good. I get that frost in the winter. I got to figure that out in the early spring, and it gets my blossoms.
Yeah, here in Florida, we only get 2 or 3 varieties that'll grow well because of the low chill hours.
Oh yeah, and we get the chill, but then that's to our detriment because then your blossoms come out and then the freeze comes in on them, and then you don't have any fruit. So
You said you got peaches. You said you got plums.
peaches, plums, uh, peaches, plums, apples, uh, pecans. I've got about 30 pecan trees.
Wow, wow,
Pistachios, bunch of
wow.
pistachios. Yeah. Anyway.
You know what goes great near you is jujubes. Do you grow any of those?
I got the round ones, and man, they're loaded in the winter or in the summer.
Wow.
They're loaded with. I love them things. Do you like them?
Oh, we have some in Florida. They're different, but the ones in California and Utah, they dry up and you could eat them dry and they're amazing.
Yeah.
The ones here in Florida, you can't eat them dry.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah, they spoil when they dry.
Oh, we have figs. We can do figs.
Oh, wow. How many figs do you have? How many fig trees do you have?
Well, I've got 2 right now. Well, I got a few more than that, little tiny ones. But then I'm getting ready to plant, probably another 10 or 12.
And do you have persimmons?
I planted them twice and I can't get them to live. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. They're very touchy. I love those.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep trying until I can figure it out. It's because it gets like 120 degrees where I'm at in the summertime, dry, hot. So.
Well, that's so great, man. You're doing it. You're doing it. This is wonderful. And
come out and visit my farm.
You're still in St. George, right?
I'm still in St. George. To your listeners, come and see me. We'll whip you up a smoothie and we'll go show you my farm.
Do you still have the health food store or no?
I sold the store.
Okay.
Sold the store. But yeah, we're here making magic happen here in the desert. We're near Zion National Park. So you can come and see me, go to Zion, we'll make you a smoothie, we'll show you my farm.
One of the most beautiful places in the United States, Zion, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. God's country. It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Denley, it's been great. Great talking to you and your amazing story. And what's well, let me ask you real quick before we get your website. Your children's children, your grandchildren, are they healthy or do they have any health problems? Because I know you said their husbands were carnivores now. So how are the children?
Yeah, actually healthy. Those kids are healthy. So yeah.
Good. Now, did you ever go back to the doctor and say anything? My kids are healthy for a checkup, or never?
We did. We were living in Vegas for a little while, and I don't know why. I can't remember the circumstances why we took them in for a checkup, and the doctor started asking questions. We thought, oh yeah, they had cystic fibrosis, yeah, and so there's something that grows in the nose with CF patients. And they're going, really? And they start getting really curious and asking questions. And they checked that growth. And yeah, I see that, and blah, blah, blah. And they started, let's bring them back in. We want more studies and tests. Something inside me scared me because it's like about that time, it got to the point where the state can actually take your kids if you're not doing what they think you should. And this is so this was like in the 80s, mid 80s.
Well, that's what I was going to say today. They'll come and take your kids just because you're not going back to the doctor for another visit.
Exactly. I have people in our store. They'll kill them. They will. They'll put them on these drugs. They'll fry them. Yeah. And so, no. And so anyway, something inside me says, go. So we didn't take them back. We didn't take them back to the doctor. No, we just kind of disappeared.
Wow. Wow. Crazy. Well, Denley, your website and all that information I'm going to put below the video here. Everybody click on the link, but tell everybody your website or the best way to contact you.
Okay, yeah, Denley at sunwarrior.com. Sunwarrior.com is my website. I have another one for people that are on a personal journey that want to experience growth and spiritual connection, it's souljourney.com, SOL journey.com. And I have an aloe vera company. I love aloe vera, and it's another way to alkalize the body. So anyway, we got some fun stuff happening.
Well, great. Everybody get to those links below, and thank you, Denley, for joining us.
Thank you. Very good to talk to you.
All right.
Hope to see your people. Come see me.
Thank you.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life